So how did you get in the world of writing? You know, that we don't actually interview too many writers. So how did you get started?
I actually started way back in the day. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I always wanted to be an actor. And when I went to college, I went to Occidental College. I studied theater, and again, was focusing on acting. I needed to finish my courses in order to graduate. It was my senior year. I kind of run out of stuff. There was a playwriting class. I was like, okay, I'll take playwriting. But I even thought of dropping it. I thought of taking a speech class instead. But my teacher wouldn't let me. And he said, no, you're going to be good at this. And so I started writing and discovered that I had an ear for dialogue. I then went to graduate school at CalArts to get my MFA in acting. I continued writing plays kind of on the side, and my plays were produced in the New Plays festivals and that kind of stuff, but it was never my focus. After I graduated, I then was trying to pursue acting, which is challenging in Los Angeles. So I had lots of various day jobs, and one of them I worked at a place called 1-800-DENTIST, which in the United here, you refer people to dentists, and the reason lots of artists worked there because you had a flexible schedule, so you could go on auditions and things like that. But nothing was really hitting for me. And I was getting tired of referring people to dentists. So my friend Pat Gatz said, hey, do you want to work as a production coordinator on Johnny Bravo? And I said, sure, that sounds great. So I started doing that, and then I got moved from Johnny Bravo to Powerpuff Girls. And I was working as a production coordinator on that, and I had a play of mine being produced in Hollywood. So I put posters up in the studio. I was like, come see my play. And so they knew I was a writer. And at that time, they needed some help with the writing on Powerpuff. And I was like, I can do it. And so the day I got brave enough to go and ask Craig McCracken if he'd give me a chance was the same day he was going to come and ask me if I would like to try. And so I did, and I freelanced for a bit while I was also I started as a production assistant. I moved up to production coordinator, and I was freelancing. And then by the end of the year, I was made head writer of Powerpuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite episode from the My Little Pony, or an episode that really challenged you as a writer?
Well, those are two different things. The challenging one was Dog and Pony Show, which I know everybody loves, but it was really hard because it was my first time writing Rarity, and I didn't want her to come off, hey, she needs to be appealing, and so I was trying to get that balance of her, and then the Diamond Dogs were a real challenge, getting the right voices for them. We went through various different versions of what they should sound like, so that was a challenge. My favorite one, like one that I love, is A Friend Indeed, and that's because I got to write a bunch of songs. You know, I had the Big Smile song, and then I had the Welcome song, and I had the Cranky Doodle Donkey song, so lots of things, and then just getting to write Pinky for an entire episode was fantastic. So that was my favorite, just episode. Just that one went very smoothly.
Okay, and how were you approached on being a guest here at Canterlot Gardens?
I think somebody called my agent, and he said, "Hey, they want you to come to this con." So it was just an email exchange, okay. And I had done BronyCon, yeah. So I think they said, "Hey, come and do this one too."
Okay, and are you enjoying your time here at Canterlot Gardens?
Yeah, I'm having a blast. Everybody's really kind and generous, and the bronies are just a really nice community to hang out with. So,
okay, and now it's a unique blend of people who watch the show, and it goes throughout all age ranges and genders. What's your theory on why it just became so popular, primarily with a male audience, as it was originally intended for females?
Right. When I worked on Powerpuff, we had an adult male audience. Yeah. But the internet wasn't what it is today. Mm-hmm. We didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have the number of message boards that are there. We didn't have 4chan. So Powerpuff, I know, had a really big following. There was something called the Pokey Oaks Library, and I had interaction with male fans. I'm still in contact with those male fans. And I think kind of a similar thing happened with Pony, that this male fan base found the show, but because of the internet, they were able to communicate with each other and find this community. And so that exploded in a very different way. I also think that just people, I mean, the animation is wonderful. The stories are strong. The music is fantastic. Just everything was so good about it. And it's just appealing to watch. And I think you guys just responded to that. And then having the outlet of the internet to express and, create, I mean, people do so much art now and they can put it up somewhere. It's not like, oh, I'm just drawing and I hang it on my wall. It's so different. So I think just all these elements all came together.
Yeah, your wall is now DeviantArt.
Exactly.
Okay, and now, of course, like we talked about, there was the male side of the culture called bronies. Why do you think it kind of latched on to them specifically and their passion? Just, I mean, we kind of answered that, but I mean, is there anything else you want to add to it?
Yeah, I think it was, I think the show offering these, I guess, life lessons, lessons about kindness, about friendship, in a world where there's often there's so much negativity, and I think from what I've learned from the brony community, they just wanted a place where they could get away from all of that, and they found it in Ponyville.
Okay, and obviously you're limited on what you can talk about on season 3, but is there any potential for fans to see something enjoyable and fun for them?
I think there's a huge potential. I actually did not work on season 3. I didn't write on season 3 because I was busy story editing the new version of Care Bears. But of course, I know that the writers who worked on it and Megan, who worked incredibly hard on it, worked to make sure it was going to be enjoyable for the fans.
Okay, and now is there anything you wish to say to all the fans out there in My Little Pony and, of course, our brony fans?
Thanks for being awesome. You guys rock. Woo!
And is there anything you want to talk about? Like, is there a way to contact you on the internet, like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Twitter, I'm at Keating Rogers. So that's my handle. You can find me. On YouTube, actually, I have a YouTube channel. It's AKR MovieTube, I believe. AKR MovieTube. If you can't find it that way, if you go to YouTube and put in Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead, you will find my video, and then you'll find my whole channel, which actually has a lot of things by my daughter, who's hilarious, she makes up her own songs. But yeah, she's just one of the funniest kids. So there's that stuff. There's my video from because I made a documentary. Called Jason Bateman Thinks I'm Dead, where I try and find Jason Bateman to tell him that I'm not dead. So that's a whole other story. And if you watch the trailer, it kind of sums it up, and you'll find out what that's about, what that crazy journey was.
Okay, and is there any upcoming projects you can talk about that you want fans to know about? Because you had mentioned Care Bears, so right. That's another great 80s thing that's coming back. So how's that going?
Yeah, it's going really well. Watch Care Bears. So that's my plug there for the Care Bears. We worked very hard on that show. And otherwise, I don't really have anything that's I have lots of things in the works, but nothing that it's like, oh, it's this is something you should look out for. But yeah, Care Bears.
Thanks so much for coming and talking with us here at Canterlot Gardens. Thank you so much.